Hello everyone, I'm Ellen McCauley, and the first thing I want to do tonight is a gesture. This is now going to be trademarked. It's going to be the pray it off gesture. Let it go. Let it go. There's going to be times where you're going to tell me things at the scale and I'm going to go. There's going to be times where I run into you in Walmart and I'm going to go. And there's going to be times where you'll say to me, Ellen, I think you better let it go. Let it go. And the thing is, successful weight loss comes from letting go of the old. People have a hard time giving up the way they've always done things. This article starts out talking about how they've shown that in breast cancer, it's not successful taking out women's lymph glands because it doesn't prove effective down the road, but they're afraid that doctors will still take them out because that's what they have always done. So it's not just us who have trouble letting go of the way of doing old things. It's everybody. But if you think that you can continue to eat whatever you want and not exercise, and that God is going to be up there in heaven going, I'm still going to let you lose 10 pounds a week, Ellen, it's not going to happen. We have to say, any program that stresses just food, and this is why I belong to a very successful program for many years. I'm not going to say it right now, but everyone knows what it was. And every week we talk about different recipes, how to build a sandwich, this, that. And I used to sit there for 5 years I went and I would say, but I want to talk about why I do it. And we never did in that venue, but here we do. Why do we want to overeat? Why do we choose to eat the wrong things? Because any program that stresses just the food is doomed to failure. Because we have a million different diet books over there. There's Atkins, there's South Beach, there's anything you can name. Go to Barnes & Noble and they have rows upon rows. Well, I can eat all protein for 10 days. I can do this for 20 days. Unless right up here you let go of the things that are making you want to do these things, you will never be successful. Addressing the basic psychological and emotional problems that play out, that's the most important thing in losing weight. Because if you're stuck in your old beliefs and you have a lot of trouble letting go of a lot of things, you will not be successful. And I know a person in the group who had one of the most stressful weeks they could have ever had. They had such a difficult time, but they've been in the program a long time. They know that eating food over it wasn't going to help it one bit. And they came in today and they did not gain a pound. And I'm talking extreme stress. And there's a victory in that. There's a victory in saying, you know what, I can't change what happened here, but I can change what happens here. And I couldn't be more proud of this person. And the first thing we need to let go of is saying we're on a diet. We're not on a diet. I'm not on a diet. If you are, think about it again. We have to let go of our past to move on with our life. There are people in this group that had horrific childhoods, that were molested, beaten. There are people in the group that have been raped. There are people in the group that are in terrible marriages. There are people in the group that have lost a child. There are people in the group that have suffered beyond suffering. And yet, guess what? Right now, September 15th, we are alive. We are standing here. There's the past. We can't do a darn thing about it. There's the future. We can worry about it and eat over it. Ain't going to change it. All we can do right now is say, oh my gosh, I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. Instead of going, wow, that happened to me, or I can't let that go, it has power over you then. It controls who you are. It controls every day. And maybe you say to me, Ellen, this person, he or she did this to me, that to me, this to me. And you take that and you let it go because you're giving them power. You know, I used to joke because remember after 9/11 they'd say, well, we can't do that, then the terrorists win. Then the terrorists win. I say that about everything. I say, I can't eat that hot fudge sundae. If I do, the terrorists will win. Because I live with my own terrorist. I have the past. I have the worries for the future. And when I do this, and there's little things you can do here. And you might say, Ellen, this is crazy crap. But listen, you can write a letter. I've told you before that I have sat at my computer and I have sat there and go, dear blah, blah. How dare you, blah, 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 blah. You did this to me. And then I'm done. I delete it. I rip it up. And I feel so much better. Join a weight loss group. Join a group where you can sit around in small group and say some things are bad. Or if there's things, there's a counseling. On October 13th, we have Dr. Liz Maloney's coming in to talk about her local practice. She's also going to talk about mindfulness, living fully aware of who we are as people, also of what we're going to eat. And she's coming in October 13th, so try not to miss. I just think she's fabulous. But go see a counselor. Go talk to a psychiatrist. Tell them every gory detail of what happened in 1956. Then let it go. Let it go. Also, maybe you did something real bad. We're not perfect in here. See, that's a lot of times the things we can't let go of, the mistakes we made. You can apologize. You can, even if that person's dead, you can write a letter to them. You can turn your head to heaven and say, God, tell this person, or talk to them directly. Go to confession. There's a lot of things you can do besides punish yourself for the mistakes you've made in the past. And then we need the confidence to let go of the past and our suffering. One of the things I like is to put, every week at Mass, we have to give donations in the basket. I like to think that, then the priest goes, please accept our sacrifice. Well, all right, maybe some of us, like if we put, $25 in, it might be a sacrifice. I like to think what would matter more to Christ is if we put our bucket of sadness, or if we put our suffering in that basket and laid that as a sacrifice. If we said, you know what, Lord, I'm going to let go of that, and I'm going to go forward in my life. I'm going to take care of this house where I live. We can deal with our pain, or we can let it slowly destroy us. And suffering is different for different people. Some people might suffer over their job. I told you, there's a guy at work, and he's 23 years old, and I want to be him when I grow up. He is just nothing bothers him. And every month we get a certain bonus if we do everything perfectly. And if he doesn't get his bonus, he's like, well, maybe next month I'll get it. And I've always gotten it, but then I always think, what if I don't? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't get my bonus? And if you knew how much it was, you'd laugh. But it's the principle. And the thing is, I sweat it out. But not him. He's like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. And I'm like, wow, I want to be him. And the only person that can do that is me. Let it go. Don't treat it as seriously as it is. Write it, destroy it, forgive. And I'm real good on forgiving everybody. I can forgive I forgive them. But do you really let it go? Do you say, I forgive you, and then inside, it's almost, I always talk about, you have a sore tooth and you keep touching it. Do you do that? Do you bring it up? And they say, do funny voices. Say, stop it, Ellen. Stop thinking about that thought. Make up a funny voice. Now, that's a little weird. I admit it. But if I'm in my mind going, you better stop thinking about that. And one of the things I also do is say the Hail Mary. I must say the Hail Mary 100 times a day. And I used to think that she said, pray the rosary for peace. But I think what she meant was not so much peace in the world, but peace inside of us, because that's where the peace starts. You can't change the past. You can only become stronger from it. How about thinking about something bad that happened to you and go, wait a minute. You are the most, talking to yourself, you are the most awesome person in the world. Not only did you overcome that, you went on to lead a good life. You went on to be a good parent. You went on to do X, Y, Z. And then you take your hand and you go, man, that really stunk. But look what God allowed me to do with my life. Pat yourself on the back, because guess what? Being angry and being stressed out doesn't help you lose weight. The happier you are, the easier it is to lose weight. Stressed out people hold on to the weight. Angry people hang on to the weight. It's the way our body is programmed. They think you're angry or stressed because you've got to go kill a dinosaur. So the body's saying, I better hang on to the weight. When you're happy and relaxed, that's when you have an easier time losing the weight. Each one of us finds a different way to take our anger out on ourselves. Whether it's with the injustices of the world or the injustice of how other people, and one of the things that I have the biggest problem with is when people do something to one of my kids. You know, all right, do something to me, all right, I'm a big girl, I can take it, but something happens to one of my kids, you know, the hair goes up in the back of your neck and you got that fighting stance, and when it's so unfair and so unjust, and then you gotta let it go. When I say let it go, I don't mean necessarily that you don't deal with it, you don't try to find an answer to it, but you don't let it control who you are on the inside, make you angry, make you eat over it. It doesn't help, and it also doesn't happen overnight. These are things that are processes. You know, I'm so much better in the 3.5 years I've been at Pray It Off. Am I a perfect person? Am I a perfect weight loss person? You don't think I don't walk by the chips at Price Chopper sometime and go, oh, my friend, maybe I should keep you near me in case I need you, and then I keep walking, you know? When you look in the mirror and hate what you see, you need addictions to survive. You can't hate yourself, you can't hate the past, you can't, you know, one of the things I beat myself up for is I never thought I'd live long enough to retire, so I really didn't plan for retirement. So now that I'm living, I'm thinking I have no money. So I could really beat myself up about this, or what can I do? Let it go. Because it is what it is. There's my one time for the day, and I need to go forward. I'm going to stop right there, Bob. Okay, and now